Hello.
Anya.
And your background is supposed to be like this, yes?
Blurry, no. Thank you for seeing that. Blur my background.
Ah, nice.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Are you right at the store?
Yes, it's the office actually, and
Okay.
we're starting small, so we have a back room, some stock, and once we're profitable, then we transform this space into a cafe shop, and we'll move the office.
Nice.
Yes, exciting.
Okay, so many things to explore today. Let's start with moringa. Like, what is it?
Okay. Wow. So first of all, I'm not a scientist, not a nutritionist neither.
From your point of view, like your
Yeah, sure.
relationship with that plant or
And I'm scared to answer to so many other questions within this one, but just purely moringa, what it is, it's been used since 4,000 years in Ayurvedic medicine and Chinese medicine because it has so much benefit by consuming it. And it's a tree that produces a leaf, a single leaf that has the 92 nutrients that our body needs. You have 13 vitamins, the 10 minerals, you have 46 antioxidants, 36 anti-inflammatory. It's 30% rich in fiber, 30% rich in protein. On the daily consumption, you do not eat the protein that you need, but it's one of the only plant that has the full fatty acids that normally you only find in meat source. So it's great for vegetarian. And there's something that I still don't have grasped the down to earth scientific knowledge behind, but I that's only my gut feeling that coming from a single source and not refined like a lot of stuff that we consume today, all those nutrients combined creates a synergy, and hence why it has so many health benefits.
can we explore it from less scientific point of view and more your own relationship with that plant?
100%.
When did you first discover that? I mean, I first discovered it when I saw your brand. I didn't know that that exists.
It's a bit longer than this. I grew up with the knowledge of this tree because 45 years ago, I wasn't there, but my grandpa from my mother's side, with my grandma, they lost their child, their son. And following this event, they created a foundation. And one of the mission of this foundation, actually the main mission, is to support children in the world. It's called Enfants du Monde, which is children of the world. One of the mission of this foundation in Burkina Faso was to reintroduce moringa, the cultivation and the consumption of moringa, as a newborn suffering malnutrition would come out of hospital twice as fast with 10 grams of fresh leaves per day. So I grew up with the story of this miracle tree that saves children newborn from dying, basically. I was not the most healthy child nor teenager. So the powder, the leaf never really intrigued me before, but the oil from the seeds, it was always literally a miracle. Any skin issues that I've had since I'm 14 or 15, I've been using the moringa oil, and after 3 to 4 days, it was mainly irritation, fungi under the feet because of humidity, dandruff, acne also. And it was always working better and faster than any pharmaceutical cream that I could have used. And yeah, that's how I got to introduced to moringa.
How old were you then?
The first story put probably 7, 8, then starting to have skin issues and in need of a product. 13, 14 probably when my mother first gave me some moringa oil. It was kind of one of those grandma recipe that my mother always had, tea tree oil, moringa oil, those stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The whole story about your grandfather, I was gonna start that later, but you kind of started that. Uh, okay, so maybe we just go into the whole beginning of the brand for you. Like, when did you decide to turn the miracle
Okay.
oil into something else? Or like,
So it was during COVID. Um, Not because of COVID. When I arrived in Bali when I was 13, mainly lived here. I traveled a bit for studying in Europe and China, but eventually I came back. Then I was working as an intern in my mother businesses. And I promised myself, okay, I would work for 2 years to make some experience and then start my own thing. Exactly 2 years after, the COVID happens. Um, a few personal event happened where it really pushed me to start my own thing. And it's hard to make sense of everything and how it happens.
you
But
can just keep it flowing, because I understand that something significant could have many things coming
yeah,
together at one, yes?
reasons,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Um, Me, since I'm 16, I'm thinking of I want to do some politics, I want to change the world, and so on and so on. And so when COVID happened,
So you
I
were thinking that,
realized,
yeah? You were
yeah,
thinking,
yeah, still
uh,
somehow. And for me, a trilogy is politics somehow. But so I was looking for a business that was aligned with my ethics, that was down to earth to the situation of Bali, how we are guests here, and that there is an advantage about how we make business, but therefore there should be a balance found. The labor cost is cheaper, the flexibility of administration is more flexible, and so on, which gives an advantage to make business, but if it's not to be fair at the end, then it creates an imbalance. And so stepping away from tourism, trying to diversify the local economy and going, which is a weird coincidence, we're looking for the best soil in Bali, the best climate, which is Karangasem. And coincidentally, it's also the poorest region of Bali. So it was aligned with the mission and without us wanting to make those two reasons together. And also, as a consumer, I couldn't find any brand that A, on the quality was at the maximum, and on the branding was attractive enough. I could find moringa in Ubud or in a very um, convinced, healthy, spiritual environment, let's say. And so I saw an opportunity to make a premium quality brand, because worldwide there isn't any brand out there yet.
how did you think of moringa specifically?
Moringa was not didn't have the place it should have. As a miracle tree, a tree that has so many health benefits on a tangible aspect, so on the health, but also on the ecological and social aspect, it can have such a big impact. It grows fast, it doesn't need much water. If you process it well, you can make a profitable business out of it. So assuming a village that is trying to develop itself, you can grow the moringa that's going to grow easily, more easily than other trees. You can feed the whole community with it, and with important and essential nutrients. You can make a living out of it, because by involving the community and processing it well, it can be profitable. And I don't know, that there was just I felt in love with this tree. I don't know how to explain. So there's no logical
That's what I wanted to hear.
yeah.
I
So
was
there you
looking for
go.
that.
Yeah, so it's not very logical, but wanting the best for this tree, and to try to put it back on the with the light that it should have had. Yeah,
Mm. Your mom, she is also involved in the business, yeah?
correct. She's financing the business from scratch, and I'm developing the business.
A- And your grandfather, is he still alive?
No, he passed away just before we started the business. Yeah.
Just before, he did not know that you're gonna take moringa to this whole new.
No, um, unfortunately, but I'm sure he knows now. And there's a coincidence that's a bit more on a personal note, but I realized it just a few months back. The 1st January 2020, I lost my son after a 7-month pregnancy. And it's a year after that and again, so I cannot explain how it started with moringa, but it was not consciously. And so it's a coincidence, unconscious coincidence, and probably repeating past or something to do, but a bit in a way of mourning that lost, I guess in the same way that my grandpa has mourned his by doing something good. Yeah.
But can you please tell me again more about what happened in Africa? I didn't understand how it connects to moringa.
One of the mission of the foundation that my grandparents have created was to reintroduce moringa in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, it's a country in Africa that suffers a lot of malnutrition. And as you probably know, malnutrition means that a newborn or an older, but don't have enough nutrient for his organs to develop. Therefore, it condemns if that's not healed or taken seriously, then your organs don't develop correctly, and then you're condemned for life. So to go to the root cause and when they're newborns and to provide the essential nutrients that moringa can provide, for example, you offer a second chance to this newborn. And actually, I do not know the story of why and how he found out about moringa, but in any social humanitarian aspect, it's so much better. For example, compared to rice, it's lighter, cheaper to send, more nutritious. Don't even need to import it. It can grow quite well, for example, in many countries of Africa.
So this personal tragedy of your grandfather has inspired him to work more for other children in
Correct.
Africa and to do this organization. Is this correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
They founded Enfants du Monde, so Children of the World. I think it was a year and a half or 2 years after they lost their son. Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from New Caledonia. It's a tiny French colony in the Pacific, right above New Zealand. And my mother's half German, half French. My father's French, but with Spanish and Italian roots. And never really lived in France. And yeah. So
Oh, wow.
passport-wise from New Caledonia, and it is a French colony, so French.
That's very unusual.
Yes. Most of the people don't even know New Caledonia. It doesn't even appears on most of the map. It's so small and very isolated.
How did you come up with the name Treelogy?
Honestly, I forgot the story. I know it took me a year, a lot of different names. I knew that the ambition was to eventually become big in a healthy and ethical way, so not too fast, etc. But so to be where I want to take Treelogy, I needed a name that was unique and also available on the trademark for Europe, for Indonesia, on the username on Instagram. I fought for almost 2 years with Instagram to give me that username that was taken, and on the domain name, just to have a treelogy.com and not .co, not .id. It was very, very important for me. So going through those criteria, finding names, I don't know. And one day, I think, why not Treelogy? And then everything pops up. That in Bali, I wanted the moringa also to come from Bali and not from other islands in Indonesia, which would be way more cheaper. But in Bali, there's the philosophy that is unique to Bali, which is Tri Takarana, to be in harmony with the people, to be in harmony with the nature, and to be in harmony with the spirits. And then a few years back, I did a quick permaculture workshop. And in permaculture, the ethics are people care, earth care, and fair trade. Okay, interesting. And then, I don't know, I'm studying the seeds of moringa. And the seeds of moringa, if I can show you. So when you do the process right, from the pods that grows, not sure if we're going to see, but within the pods, when they get to maturity, you have those seeds that are with the shell. And then it's a bit dried, but some wings so that the moringa can fly away and repopulate itself.
Ah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. A lot of brands, they just press this hot press to get the oil, but then you have a lot of impurities. What we do is we sun dry it. It doesn't take away the nutrient because it's protected by the shell. But within this shell, up, you have the actual seed, which is even more cute. You can understand where I'm coming from. Up. Not sure if you see.
Ah,
It's a
the white
beautiful,
one.
yes, and that was inside. And so
Ah,
you can see there's also a trinity. And so basically everywhere that I looked, there was a trinity of something. Also, I heard without understanding the meaning of it, but that Einstein said, if you knew the power of number 3, 6, and 9, you would understand the whole universe. And so Treelogy, to play with the trinity and to give a, I don't have the word in English, but a respect to the tree of moringa, I thought it was a good match.
in terms of the brand and your products, like, do you produce many different things out
No,
of?
I'm not sure how in depth you want that I get. The ideal for me was to establish Treelogy as a pioneer in a premium quality of moringa. Therefore, I needed to launch all the pure products, the powder, the capsule, and the oil, without having any experience in administrative licenses and so on. To do that, I needed to have all the best quality certification. So we needed it to be organic certified. That's why we made our own farm so that we can show and be in control of how things grow. We needed to have the control on the process because there's so many different type of process that makes your moringa go from zero nutrient and useless and bitter and brown to a really good quality moringa. And that came with so many challenges. So the powder was easy because in Indonesia, it's under food category. So that's the most easy in terms of licenses to get. But then I discovered that in Indonesia only, you cannot put pure powder into capsules. Didn't make sense. But we wanted to play by the book, and so we make a lot of R&D. We could only do extract of the powder. So I tried to do extracts, and you have two ways. Either you do a maceration with alcohol, and then you can only extract the antioxidant and anti-inflammatories. Or you can do an extraction with water, and then you can only extract vitamins and minerals, which didn't make sense because people are interested in moringa because it has all this wider nutrient content. And so we advocate without any backlash, without any connection. And we, after 1 year of advocating, we got to have a meeting with the number 2 of BPOM, and which led to changing the regulation nationwide. For example, in the forest, you have the trees that are going to have the leaf that falls, that's going to be mulching. You have some animals that do their needs, that's going to be composting. There's not big trucks that come, so you do not compact the soil, and so on and so on and so on. That's what we do in permaculture. And right now, what we're doing is with a dermatologist, with a teacher from university, we are studying the function of skin, what it needs, what it do not need, and so basically observing nature and then replicating this through our cosmetic products. For example, the bacteria you have on your skin, a lot of soaps kills 100% or 99% of the bacteria, which is terrible. There's a lot of bacteria that your skin actually needs to protect itself. Or yeah, so there's going to be more than the oil that we just launched. about 10 SKU of cosmetic. And then in supplements, we're going to launch infusions soon.
You mentioned a few times that quality is important to you.
Yes.
Why quality is important to you?
Okay, that's going to be irrelevant, but everyone says they do quality and the best, etc. Unfortunately, and that's honest, I could never cheat. Every time I tried to cheat as a teenager in school with my parents and so on, I got caught for the most obvious stuff. In school, I had friends who were opening like big paper and copying. Teacher wouldn't see. I had like just one sentence under my short. So I always got caught. And and more than this, it's not even a choice. I wanted to make everything ethically. That was the most important for me. So to use as less as possible machines, as long as it doesn't come out a less quality than with a machine. And actually I discovered after that if you want to process moringa as it should be, you have to involve a lot of people. You have to have this ethical uh, ongoing process. Also for efficiency, I didn't see myself selling an end product, claiming all those nutrients and those benefits, knowing that the product itself was dead of nutrients because of the process. Because as I made the business plan and I got really into numbers and into the process and into the scientific studies, looking that from drying or dehydrating, the end result of vitamins and minerals can be like twice as less, 3 times as less, 4 times as less. And also for marketing purposes, my goal was to have a beautiful product that people want to consume. And if you do not have the stem-free purity that we do, you do not have a green powder like we do. Every Sunday, we're doing the Sunday market in La Brisa, which is an amazing market. And so the first 6 months, I was doing it every Sunday, and I got to hear what people were saying. People who knew moringa, some lovers since 20 years consuming moringa, some who never know. And one thing that got everyone to agree is that our moringa looks like matcha, it smells like matcha, and almost tastes like matcha. But on the color, big fans of moringa that consumes moringa since longer than me never saw moringa this green. And that's because of the stem-free purity.
Since you have never been involved with producing products before, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it means that this whole, like this brand, like all of these experiences, products creation, it's from zero.
Yes, all from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah, it came with a lot of stress, anxiety, and in French we say that's not very polite, but the ass between two chairs, like having to make decisions and. But yeah, everything was a first to build a factory, to get aligned with all the regulations, to create a farm, to apply permaculture principles on a tangible and big scale farm, to develop a brand, visual branding, making websites. Yeah, everything was a first time.
What was the easiest part?
Branding, I think, because I always seek to find instruments to express myself. I'm really bad at singing, extremely bad at learning a musical instrument. Um, I don't know how to explain, but for example, I've studied hospitality in Amsterdam, which was not to learn hospitality, but it was to structure myself in order for me to find a way to express myself. That didn't work, the hospitality, but then I went in Paris to learn multimedia. So it was a 4-year course, normally 3 years, but I didn't continue. During the first year, you have 3 modules. One was to learn how to make videos, the other one, graphism, and the third one, a bit of coding. That was revealing for me because suddenly I would save so much time and I could express something that was in my brain through a visual something. But I guess, yeah.
Okay. And but it's like when you were like thinking about even like designing the website, I mean all of those, the videos, all of those, was it like all really natural? It's like you just felt it and you were creating it from the felt sense, or you were more like thinking, okay, it's like what are our values? What is our identity?
Analyzing 100%. I'm trying to learn to listen more to my gut feeling, which is not an issue, but something I have to work on since a long time on this. So it is more on a analytic perspective, understanding who are we trying to, well, what's the essence of Trilogy? What do we stand for? Who are we trying to reach? And how do they want to hear what we have to say? I did a workshop a few years back, already 10 years ago, and it was nonviolent communication workshop. And sorry, I'm bad with the reference, but I've learned something about colors, and that we all have 4 colors, and depending on the situation, one is more dominant. The example that marked me is the red and the blue. If you talk to a kid that is red and that has made a mistake, you have to take him to the garden, to make him sit on the ground, to make him touch the grass, to tell him a story why what he did is bad, and etc. etc. But if you talk like this to a kid that is blue, and blue is very analytic, is what you've done is bad because this, and now you need to do this. So if you talk with a story to a kid that is blue, he's going to hear what you say, but he's not going to listen. It's just not, he's not able to, and vice versa. And it changed my whole perspective on the personal aspect, but also professional. Because suddenly the goal is not anymore to say what we have to say, how we have to say, it's to be heard and to be listened. And so how do I need to say, no, what do I have to say? How can I say it so that the other one can hear it? And so I
Wow.
try to apply this with Trilogy.
It's like, how do you not compromise on,
Have to on.
on what you have to say, like that essence that you want to deliver? It has a potential to be compromised on the way, no? If you are too oriented
For
to.
sure. So I'm not sure I grasp fully the question, but I'm always compromising uh, and also making choices that do not make sense sometimes. For example, the smartest would be business-wise to target Ubud community, very, very healthy community, and so on. But the essence of Trilogy is to try to breach communities. Uh, Hence the political aspect of those companies. With social media and with the time we are in, we're surrounded by people who think like us, who consume like us, who etc. etc. And we're closed by the social media, for example, into those bubbles and into those communities. Therefore, to have contradiction is not acceptable anymore, and there's no more communication between those communities. So moringa has been known and used in those health communities since dozens of years, if it's not more. This is where I could buy moringa, and so on. I saw an opportunity to bring this natural product to the other communities and to find how to communicate with them, which is much harder because it's an audience that do not know about moringa. So there's a lot of education to do, which costs a lot in terms of marketing. But the goal through having a farm, for example, and to show what we do is to prove that permaculture can be sexy and not be just barefoot in the mud and doing some hippie stuff in a garden. I don't know how to say it differently. Um, and then under compromise, it's more in terms of marketing. what we really stand for and believe in, and then being confronted with the reality of the market, of marketing, of how to make ads, of this things of hooks, and within 3 seconds you need to catch the attention and so on. It's very hard to be, for example, a slow brand, to have a slow brand identity, for example.
What is really working for you in terms of marketing the most?
Offline mainly, and when we have time to explain, that's working really well. For example, on the markets, we're doing really, really good numbers because we have time to explain things and how it's made and all the tangible and intangible benefits of what we do and how we do it. Right now, to condense all of this into a 15-second to 60-second ad, that's very hard. And so we're working on it.
When I speak with creators, I also learn that right now we're in this time when meanings need to be communicated differently. And it's almost like a time for new, I don't know, new ways of storytelling, new ways of communication to be born. In Treelogy, it's like to what extent you actually innovate and like really going for it, regardless of what others think.
When we started Treelogy, everyone was laughing at us. At the origin, I didn't want to buy a land. It was against what I was standing for. Like, I'm just a guest here, and the goal was to give back to the community. So I go see some the land that we have now, and I've made a business plan where, thanks to my mother, we can promise them 3 years of their income upfront, 3 times what their income of 3 years upfront, so that we have time to develop the farm, and after, how to make times 5 on a yearly basis their income. So to trust us, we put everything in place, we train, and then they take over by their own. The people was laughing at us, and moringa in Bali is known a bit as a weed because it grows very fast, very easily. It also has a spiritual aspect where it pushes away bad spirits. So you would put it on your fence of your house, or for example, some priest might wash your body once you die with moringa leaves.
Okay.
And it's a bit like a weed that has no value because it's the grandma recipe that was in soup, but that's it. And moringa itself grows very fast and so on. But then I started to focus on the quality, and the quality, it's the process. And to have a moringa that is green, that is non-bitter, and that has a good nutrient, okay, you need to have a good moisture in the end result, in the powder. So between 5 and 7. So that's something you need for your powder to not oxidize. Then you have the leaf and you have the stems. The leaf are thinner than the stems. So if you do not separate each leaf from the stems, you have an issue, is that either you dehydrate the leaf perfectly, but the stems haven't been dehydrated at the right level, and you have a powder that has too much moisture, oxidized, becomes brown and bitter, or you dehydrate the whole thing perfectly, including the stems, and your leaf have been over dehydrated, so you have no more nutrients. So you cannot compromise on the stem-free quality. No one does this because it costs so much. A single lady on our farm separates 65 grams per hour of fresh leaf, which is only 10 grams of dried leaf. So in order to make this, it's equivalent to 18 women who for a single hour has separated each leaf one by one. It's enormous. The price that it cost us, and we control the whole chain of production from seeds to you. The price that it cost us to make this is higher than the retail price of competitors.
Okay.
So including the margin. Then on the machine too, you can sun dry it, or you can put it in the oven. We have opted for dehydrators. So we dehydrate for 22 hours at 38 degrees only. So it's a very long process that takes time, that consumes electricity too, and And yeah, it's 22 hours, but it's the only way to preserve the nutrient for the end result.
Is your moringa the highest quality moringa in the world?
In terms of nutrient content, we're waiting some lab results. My gut feeling is that yes. When we talk about organic, after um, with non-organic fertilizer and entrants, other entrants, I do not have the control. But organic, we're waiting some results. We have bought some other competitors worldwide. But my gut feeling is that yes, for example, the biggest uh, retailer in America, I'm not gonna name them,
Yes, names are
but
not important.
yes, they recommend 10 grams per day of their moringa. With ours, it's impossible. Even an adult my size, my weight, 3 grams at first, it's a bit too much because of the fiber content, and so it can a bit upset your stomach. All of the brands that we bought from World Wild, their powder is brown, but it's radically brown compared to our powder that is really green, and that at the same time of production. Um, and they all have about the same dosage recommendation, which is 3 times more than not what we decided, that what our consumer are saying, our clients are saying. So I believe so, yes.
Okay.
In terms of quality, stamp-free, we're the only one that's simply because of the price. Perhaps some others does it, but then they either exploit humans because you have to pay. There's people separating the leaf, and so looking at their retail price, we can imagine and assume their COGS, their cost of production. And yeah, because that's another part also. From the very first day, it was essential for me to prove that we do not need to wait to be super successful to be ethical. And one of the important aspect was our farmers, to design the farm so that they have a workplace that do not ask their body more than is really necessary, and also to pay them what I call regenerative price. That's a bit uh, with the ego, because it's never enough for me, but it's still 40% above minimum wage. Whereas a farmer in Indonesia normally works for his own name and makes only half the minimum wage. And so from the very first day, and it took 3 years before we started to launch, we pay all of our farmers when they start 40% above minimum wage. So, and I believe that gives an intangible benefit to the end product. When you consume it, you know who made it, how much they got paid, how were they treated, and so on is important.
Why was it so important for you to do it ethically, like, right?
Um, I don't know, we are always influenced by our past. Perhaps even I've read recently that traumas are transmitted in DNA and sometimes transgeneration. So I don't know the full story of why, but I know that my father is a lawyer, criminal lawyer, and political also. He was the lawyer of the independentists in New Caledonia. I've always traveled the world. When I was a kid, my parents took us once a year to travel the world and to open our minds, the education also, to do things well, to be polite, to be humble, to be nice to each other. And so I thought that business should be like this. We all criticize, well, I grew up in an environment where we criticize government, politics, capitalism, and so on. But from what I saw, capitalism, it's only a tool. And so it's how we use that tool. Just like internet can be terrible, just like the crypto money can be used by criminals, or it can be used for amazing projects and so on. So to do things the right way, or at least how it feels right, it was obvious to me. I
Wow.
want most likely for ego reason, no? Because I still don't have a full understanding of this, but I know that because of my childhood trauma, I live through the outside validation. Okay. And what to do with this? And is it negative? Is it positive? In the end, uh, I'm I'm trying to live with it so that it doesn't pollute me so much. But one of the positive aspect of it is that it pushes me to do things the right way, because I need that what I do is perceived by others as the right thing to do, for example. And so no matter if that's the reason and therefore it makes it less pure or less authentic, or it pushes me to do things how I need so that I can feel confident and good in my skin. And if that these people, then good.
But I also love how it's coming from this at school when you were caught, whenever you tried
Yeah,
to do something not correct.
yeah,
I really love it because I feel like all our experiences really kind of signpost towards our soul purpose,
yeah.
you
I
know,
agree.
because I love this is my favorite. And I think this whole transparency of Treelogy has to do with that.
Completely. Yes. Because also it's a peace of mind. When you do things completely transparently, um, hold on, no one can reproach you or get you or trick you, or like everything we do is transparent. You can visit the farm, you can visit the process. We are where we are. There are things that we can improve, and we're going there. Yeah.
Wow. What's your relationship with the truth?
This is going to sound poetic. But I really like this sentence. Uh, no clue who is it from, but the truth to me is a broken mirror that everyone has a piece. And I love that sentence because it's so accurate for me. Hence why the essence of trilogy is to breach community. Because everyone thinks they know the truth in their own community, and they're they're surrounded by people who thinks like them what is the truth, and so they auto uh, auto celebrate their ego. I don't know how to say, but unless we all come together, there's no truth. It's only a belief. Everything that we are experiencing, somehow, I'm not sure if I believe everything I just said, but everything that we're experiencing is a belief. The way our society are built, our belief on what is it to be a good person. It all comes from your past experiences that has shaped what you believe. Um, so yeah, there's a danger with this because I always try to look from all perspective. For example, in politics, from extreme left to extreme right, I listen to everybody to make my own opinion out of it, knowing that it's only an opinion and not the truth. Same with this, it's looking from all perspective. Okay, how do we make the best moringa? There's a tangible and scientific aspect. That's the regenerative agriculture. That's the process. There's an intangible aspect. That's the ethical. Do we pay well our team? How do they work? In what condition? Uh, how truthful and transparent can we be?
I want to ask, so how do you define the essence of moringa? Oh, not moringa, Treelogy. So how do you define the essence of Treelogy?
Mm,
Bridging the communities.
yes, but that's a bit too. That's what I try to infuse trilogy with, because it would be too marketing gimmicks to say that now we haven't created a community yet. Um, but I start to see it, from our consumer, that there are some. I'm going to exaggerate so that what I'm trying to say is clear, but from the hippie to the white collar guy buying our products, and that's my goal. Some people who never tried any supplements or taken any superfood, green superfood. Some people who on the market pressing but asking what is regenerative agriculture. We forget that not everyone knows about what is regenerative agriculture. some others who are fascinated by the ethical aspect and this image of the ladies of our community separating the leaf. So this I love, but it's only what I try to infuse in the brand. What is true is that we craft the purest moringa and most ethical. This is undeniable. Purest because we're the only one in the world doing stem-free at 95%. There's always the baby stems that we accept, but the main stems. And ethical because paying our farmers 40% above minimum wage, already having more farmers per hectare than we should in terms of business. Giving that life that we give to our goats. We've made an incredible house for the goats that is amazing. They can live the life that they want, and we just collect the manure because it's the richest in nitrogen, so to make our own compost. So it's amazing. And yeah, so on that ethical aspect. So for now, Treelogy is crafting the purest quality and the most ethical moringa products.
Why is it important for you about the goats and where they live and to create?
It's so cool. It's so cool. We can live in a symbiosis where everything works together and where that's maybe optimist, but the way we do things, capitalism works. So out of all the systems that we have tried, it's far from being the best, but it's not the worst either. We can create products that do not harm the earth to a certain extent, because still business, it's still expanding, and therefore on a limited earth, it has its limitation. But to be able to give a life to the animals, to not make the animals hurt. I could be on a business where we have to slaughter or to kill animals, chickens, and so on. Yeah. To recreate an ecosystem, to do something that if it's done at a bigger scale, because for example, with the earthwork that we've done, we harvest the rainwater directly into the soil. Logically, theoretically, it gives more water to the water source of the village who lives further down. It avoids erosion. I don't know. It's just, when it takes and everything makes sense, it's awesome. It's like the name Treelogy, that there's tree inside, but it plays with the trinity that you have in permaculture, but that you have also in Bali, so where it grows with the philosophy. I just like when things sticks, and to have those animals. Soon we're gonna have bees, and so when we're in the flower season, we're gonna have moringa honey. That's freaking cool because it gives us a product, moringa, but also it pollinates all our farms, so it improves the ecosystem. In permaculture, you learn to plant things, to not do monoculture, but when you plant something, it needs companion plants. And so other plants that benefit, that has a symbiotic relationship, so that benefits each other. If it has less than 3, you do not plant it. So it needs, for example, we planted pinto spinat, which is a cover crop. It's awesome because it covers the soil, avoiding the sun to cook directly the topsoil. The root system releases nitrogen into the soil. And it's beautiful. It's an argument too. So boom, okay, we can plant it. And so same with the goats, to have that it has more meaning and to give a happy life to beings. That's very cool.
What do you think about the word oneness?
Not familiar. I understand it, but I'm not familiar with it.
It's like I'm just trying to, from what you are saying, how Treelogy is doing these deeply integrated systems, and everything works like one organism, and
Yeah.
how every element it's like this whole ecosystem like really thrives in that togetherness. And the same you are talking about there is the same feeling when you talk about people who are using your product, and it could
Yes.
be different kinds of people, or this whole bridging community, you're
Yeah.
calling it bridging community, but I'm just saying that I feel like it's the soul, because it feels like it's what's from the inside, from how you are building the company, from your
Yeah.
goals to your vision to all of it. And it's almost like the same you're trying to do outside with your clients and with how they. Is that it's just my observation, but does that resonate or not?
100%. It's perhaps not the word oneness, but more symbiosis. So that's more on a Western aspect more than holistic, because it's still a benefit with a symbiotic relationship. But yeah, that everything makes sense with hurting the less possible our environment. And by environment, I mean humans, but also nature. Uh, this is where everything makes sense. Uh, a sense of fulfillment, uh, especially Western, but now it's everywhere in the world. Like how I grew up, because now it's with the social media, it's way less. But I grew up knowing that my T-shirt and my shoes was made by children my age in China and in Africa, and I had to live with this. That it's okay. I grew up with a world of consumption that I know is responsible for that turtle that is suffocating in the. How does that on the cellular level and on the energy and karma or whatever you believe in, that must have an impact on you. So how can we do differently so that it has only or mostly a positive impact on you, and we can consume in a better way? And the packaging, okay, fair, not everything is perfect, but we build packaging that are smaller so that we can compact the powder, trying to remove naturally oxygen so that it can stay longer. Like this, we don't need to put conservative and so on. I studied for a whole year, a whole chain life cycle of material for packaging, from plastic to glass to tin, for example. And I've learned that in some countries, plastic is better than glass or tin. Yeah, because how it's produced, how it lives, and after how it's recycled or not recycled should be taken into account. For example, solar panel in Indonesia, great. Sorry, it's just this example because it's more clear. Great, because electricity is produced with coal. So the solar panel that needs minerals, that has ethical negative impact because you need to go in Africa and have children who work in mines to get this minerals. Then it's made in China. Then it's sent to Indonesia. It has a 3 years lifespan of 5 years or 10 years. So then you need to recycle all the components. Where does that go, etc.? When you look at this whole life cycle, the solar panel in Indonesia makes sense. In Europe, it pollutes more. It has a bigger negative impact than petrol, for example. And we, with social media, we live without knowledge that there's some sort of I'm going to contradict myself with before, but there are some factual truth sometimes when it's about facts. And so to look at this is, to me, this is facts. And I lost the train of what I was saying, but
It was channeling consciousness.
yeah, that went a bit too far. No, I have a blank completely.
It's okay because I was just fully immersed into.
In the end, the truth to what I would like that trilogy incarnate, it's somehow uh, a truth that can gives you a feeling not of fulfillment but of meaningness uh, and trust. So I was taking the example of the packaging because, okay, people can trust that we have studied every different packaging and that we know that this is the one that has a less impact if you're buying in Indonesia, our products. For example, we're not just marketing to make things look cool, because glass looks so awesome. You put a bit of coloring in your powder, you put the powder into glass, it looks like it's zero packaging and so on. But then so you're buying an eco-friendly packaging product that looks cool, but 2 weeks after you have no more nutrients in your powder because the sun cooks directly the powder in the glass. So what's the point? You buy some stuff, it gives you the feeling, but just on a superficial level that you're eco-conscious, that you're gonna nourish yourself with a product that is natural, but if you didn't buy it organic or so on and so on. Hence why, by the way, so I'm a bit going everywhere, but we're doing the regenerative organic certification, because organic is good, but it's only the beginning. You can have a 100 hectares farm that is flat, used with trucks, with organic certified pesticide, but that are produced on the other side of the world, that are shipped to you, and with a monoculture. So organic just means that your product was not grown with chemical pesticides or entrants. But regenerative means that you took care about the soil, that you improve the soil fertility, that you nourish, enrich the soil, that you take care of the animals or the ecosystem that is on your farm.
Wow, this is just so fascinating, like how you really go into every aspect of your product.
Had time out. We had some delays with the license and the factory, because we have had some we got screwed by a few people. But so I had time to think about all of this. 3 years is long, waiting that we are able to sell into do
But
business.
Sasha, like it's like I mean, you really go into the depths of every aspect of your product. Why are you doing that? Like, I mean, you could have as well, like say, because even some of those things already could be enough for great marketing, right? So why would you go to that incredible extent to, really?
Well, that's I don't know. Normally, I grew up with being passionate about something, learning what I have to learn, and then stopping and switching. So a bit of everything, because I changed a lot of time school, so I had to learn new things to adapt a bit like a chameleon, with sports, with interest, with all of this. With Treelogy, it's a bit different. I jumped blind into something I did not know fully what I was getting into. And so I cannot just change subject with Treelogy. I'm stuck in a positive way, but I'm stuck with Treelogy. So I have nothing else than to dig deeper and deeper. And yeah, because I think more than selling moringa, uh, we're selling trust, we're selling not selling, we're sharing knowledge. And because yeah, I want to, it's not just a brand for me. Somehow I want to do politics. This I know it since I'm very young. And by politics, I mean giving back power to people. To me, in France, I have only the example of France, but the politicians have changed vocabulary, professionalized the job, so that people feel like it's an expertise, but politics should belong to everyone. And well, I'm not sure where I'm going, but also a mentor that I listen a lot, Idrissa Berkane. I think it was the one who talked about the truth being a broken mirror. Where I'm getting, I have a blank again.
It was very beautiful.
To give back to the people and the knowledge. He came with thank you. He came with a theory of knowledge. Theory of knowledge, I love it. It's idealistic, but it takes the story of, for example, you have a kilo of knowledge, an idea, and I have an idea. Now let's take it the other way around. You have 20 euro, and I have 20 euro. You offer a service, I'm going to pay you my 20 euro. Great. I'm at 0, and you're only at 40. So it's not exponential. That's the economy based on money. But if you base the economy on knowledge, so you have an idea, I have an idea. In exchange of your service, I'm going to share my idea. I'm still rich of my first idea. And you already had an idea in your head, plus another one, and create, at worst, a useless third idea, at best, a revolutionary idea. The theory of the economy of knowledge. So more than a brand, that's where I was getting at, more than just selling moringa, we are selling trust, that's for our product, but also our business serves as a channel for knowledge. I want to try to bring a bit of clarity among all the noise that there is now about health, wellness. I want to change the form of what we say so that someone from a city who's completely not aware of breath work, of a specific diet, of all of this, suddenly have someone talking to him, how he can hear it. And yeah, so coming back to why am I doing all of this? I'm not sure why, but growing up with my father, who was someone fighting for justice, at least what he was telling me, someone fighting for justice. I have to be like my father somehow. I have to do the same because that's what I grew up in, and I've lived as a privileged kid my whole life. I didn't really know it when I was a kid because I was traveling, doing trekking in Cambodia or in the desert in Morocco. So for me, we were a humble family because I was with kids of Bedouin, of people from the desert and so on. I didn't know that it cost an arm to do this type of trips. I was never in luxury hotels. I couldn't have a brand on my, but always aware that I was so privileged and always in contrast and being shown what is the other side of being privileged, the unprivileged population and so on. So it's not fair. There must be a way to reduce those inequalities and so on. That sounds like a lot of bullshit because we're a premium brand with a higher price product. But my intention, that's personal, and it's time who would say it, is that with a successful brand that cannot be criticized on everything that it does, that can justify also the price point and so on. And if this business, then with the profit that it makes, have good action, then for me it's a success. Yeah. The social enterprise, I guess.
And so it's like in terms of the values of Treelogy, like if someone asks you.
Yes. This is repeated, so I know it. Not sure if it's values or ethics every time I confuse them, but it's people care, earth care, and future care. So the trinity of the Treelogy.
Okay.
I changed, so of course it's inspired from permaculture and from the Balinese philosophy Tri Takarana. I took out the fair trade from permaculture because I want to go beyond this. And I've changed also the in harmony with the spirit because it's a bit too religious or spiritual. And since I want to be neutral in the communication too, I put it in future care. Yeah, people care how we treat our people within Treelogy, but also you as a consumer by being so transparent, by being offering you the best quality moringa. Earth care by improving and not depleting the soil that we use. And future care, we're transforming our farm into regenerative incubator. So meaning any farmers from Indonesia can come for free and to learn with us about our practices.
Beautiful.
But also, yeah.
Why would you do that?
Because one of my mission, and if one day I have the arm long enough, is to federalize or to be part of this movement and to transform Bali into the first, and Indonesia, but the first regenerative place. I felt in love also with regenerative because you can apply it in architecture, you can apply it in society structuration, you can apply it in agriculture, you can apply it in so many different ways. And everything makes sense, and it's somehow a bit closer to the truth than all the other systems that we have now. Yeah.
What do you love the most about Treelogy?
Well, today the capsule. I'm so proud. What I love the most. That I see that is changing me on so many levels, that I'm starting to see it working, to see that it's possible. We're still not yet profitable, but I can see that it will happen. And therefore that it was not just a promise to my teams, to my mother too, and that everyone had a good reason to believe in the project. On our farm, we have a beautiful story that I love. It's 4 generations working on the farm, from the grandma and the daughter separating the leaf to the son and the grandson working as farmers. That's incredible. And so to be able to employ these people, to not make them travel into a cost is like a very simple and not very cozy room, let's say. On the other side of the island, far from the community, of course, we have some situation like this. For example, in the office, we have a team member that's from Jakarta and so on. But on the farm, to protect the island, to not be part of those who do business by destroying Bali. I love it.
In terms of the challenges, how would you describe what are your main challenges with this project?
Agricultural. It's hard. We chose a region where that is very challenging, and we chose a land that is also very challenging. We're at 500 meters high in altitude, which is amazing. We have the view on the sea with a big volcano that is behind. We're right between the sea and the crater. In the raining season, it's challenging because the volcano is holding the clouds. And it was not so much an issue before, but this year the raining season was quite intense. And so we had some days where we had only 2 to 3 hours of sun per day. And that for moringa, it's extremely challenging. Plus the pest that we have takes really a lot of time to observe, to see where is the imbalance, because if there's a pest that is invading, that there's an imbalance somewhere. And so that's a lot of trust, a lot of patience, a lot of let go to be okay, to still move forward. Administrative wise, we lost a lot of time. And if I was profitable, no problem, if we're really rich, okay, we have the time. But to start the business, it took us 1 year to finally be able, and in transparency, to be able to sell the moringa capsules. We just had the license today. Before it was not possible. I had to fight, small as we are, not being profitable and so on. I had to advocate with the government to change the regulation nationwide. And I could have started to sell a year ago. And every month we're spending money we're burning money to maintain everything. Very challenging. And the third one, it's moringa itself. It's not known yet. More and more, but not enough yet in terms of business. Therefore, it's very costly in terms of marketing to educate. In order to do things the right way from the start, so to make our own farm, to do everything organic, regenerative, to make our own factory and so on, we had to be already on a big scale. But we're starting from a 0 scale. And so to reach that point where it covers and we have a 0 point, break-even point, yeah, that's very challenging. Yes.
Nice. I just wanted to share to say that Even when you shared that, the beautiful story from grandmother to
Yeah,
daughter, it's like there is such a beauty about how everything is connected. And I really feel like in terms of oh,
in terms of it just jumped.
in terms of your marketing,
Yeah,
you should, in terms of your marketing, in terms of your storytelling, you should really, really fully go for all these beautiful moments of interconnectedness of everything and how you are, like, because I think that's the essence.
I agree. But going back to what's real, to what's true. Yeah,
I really love it, Sasha. I think that, you completely convinced me to to try.
try moringa.
Yes. You
That's
know,
great.
you know what I want to ask also? Do you ever speak with moringa tree? I mean, like, I don't know, spiritually, because I mean, I'm lover of trees, right? I mean,
Yes.
I have some of my favorite trees, I sit down, I speak with them. I mean, I don't know. Do you do something like that, or that's too spiritual?
No, so it's a bit like with my angels. I talk to them only when things goes down. And every time I feel guilty and I apologize to them I waited that is when it goes down. Sometimes I do talk to my to the trees directly, but to the farm, let's say,
Okay.
internally. But one of the things that I have so many ideas to implement yet, but first I need to focus on the business and to make this business run. But I wanted to put speakers in the farm and to run some specific vibration for the trees.
Oh,
So that's something that will come eventually, but definitely on the and always. So again, the intention is to bridge. So and to be neutral. If you're partial, then all the rest do not listen to you. If you're neutral, then everyone can listen to you. So I want to bring this spirituality that I'm sensitive to, but to back it up with a scientific approach. And now we live in an amazing time where science is backing up all of those practices. So that's amazing. Like Ayurvedic medicine, it's known, it exists 5,000 or more years, and everything in it is being backed by science now. They didn't have all the tools, all the labs, that's amazing. And this thing of vibration, I would love to.
since we're talking about moringa, like, what do you think is the soul of moringa, if you were to describe it, because you know that more than anyone else?
Every tree, every beings have a soul, but moringa, there's something very specific with it. First, for all the belief that is behind, depending on where you are, all the tangible benefit that it brings to human and animals. Uh, there's something miraculous about it. And that's not a marketing gimmick. It's a name given since 5,000 years. So I'm not sure how. I'm not sure if it's a inclination of what or who, but there's something very, very strong with moringa. And look at it. I mean, I've scented no matter what and where Treelogy will go, if when they will do other plants or uh, I wanted to put for life the moringa leaf, the logo. That's our logo, because it's moringa itself that has been the spark of this whole project of Treelogy. Um, on a personal level too, it's moringa that made me believe I would not have been as creative, as passionate, as into it for ashwagandha or spirulina or I don't know. I would not have. Um, so yeah, there's something as mystical as what you experience during ayahuasca, for example, where you can feel the yeah. I don't know how to explain. During my ayahuasca trip, I was connected to lizards. Sounds really weird, but and I was communicating with one, not with words, uh, but it was as clear as when we're speaking right now. And yeah, but the same experience I have with moringa. There's something very old with this tree. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was really like impacted, you know, and especially by the purity of your soul, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think you know, in terms of your materials, you absolutely have a beautiful branding, you know, in terms of the, you know, your website, your presence. But I think the most impactful materials for me is when you yourself, you know, are talking about it.
That's what I'm understanding it too. So I think you're 100% right.